Dior went and reformulated their palette. The classic Backstage Glow Face Palette in 001 Universal. Here's a new one. The question is this new one as good as the original, or did they ruin it? What a lot of us are wondering is, why did they reformulate it in the first place? That is what I want to get into today. Some backstory for context. The original Dior Backstage Glow Face Palette, this thing was like the Beyonce of highlighters. Everybody had it, everybody loved it. It was extremely versatile. You could put it on your eyes, your cheeks. Makeup artists would use it backstage. Regular people would wear it to brunch. It just worked. So when Dior said all of a sudden, hey, we're gonna change it up, everybody was like, why? I did some research. We're going to talk about ingredients. One of the main differences between the old and the new formula is that the old one had some rich, creamy ingredients, things like shea butter and vitamin E. That gave it that softer, more buttery feel. In the new version, Dior took those out and put in some rice protein. Turns out that rice protein is actually used to make powders feel smoother and lighter on the skin. So basically, the old formula leaned more nourishing, and this new one leans more minimal and silky. Dior simplified the recipe. The big question is, does that make it better on the face? We're gonna test that today. I'll apply the old and the new formula side by side. Here's the real reason why Dior probably reformulated. Around the world, new laws are changing what brands can and can't put in makeup. In Europe, there's a ban on microplastics in cosmetics. That means things like plastic glitter or little blur powders, gone. Also in California, some chemicals sometimes referred to as forever chemicals are banned. That started this year. Also in the US, we now have federal rules that force brands to simplify the formulas and prove safety in ways they didn't before. So if you're thinking it's probably just to cut costs, yes, Dior could save some money by simplifying, but they also had to adjust if they wanted to sell globally. That's why you see things like shea butter and vitamin E disappearing, rice protein and gentler preservatives coming in. It's Dior trying to future-proof their palette with a new formula. Reformulation is not optional. This is regulation plus marketing pressure. It's time for the moment of truth. Let's get into application. Old Dior on this half of the face, new Dior over on this side. Let's see how they compare in real life, shall we? Let's start with the old one on the eyes. So starting with a bronzer, I'm gonna put it here on the crease. What I love about this texture is that, look, I have the brush placed on my eye. I'm not even lifting it. And you're gonna see how this particular formula, you see how it's kind of like, it doesn't go on harsh. It starts looking diffused right away, pretty much. I decided to use the same brushes on both old and new because the brush has a lot to do with application, so I'm just wiping off the brush on my Sigma switch to get rid of the product. And here is the new one. The shade itself looks the same, the finish looks the same. When you pick up the formula with the brush, it does feel it's buttery, like the brush kind of grabs it, whereas the new formula feels more lightweight and airy, even upon application. Let's go into the gold with a Refer 02. Here what I'm gonna look for is, does the finish look the same? Does the shade look the same? And how does it feel going on the eye? I wiped off my brush, so the gold shade. As I'm picking it up with a brush, it's not like I'm noticing it being more dusty or powdery. The color looks the same, and so does the finish. I don't see any difference with this particular shade. Taking some of the white here in the old one, new one. They both look the same. Let's see it tapped on the eye. This is the old one and the new one. I totally overdid the white. I'm gonna take some of the gold one and sweep it across. The more you buff, you see how you start getting that smooth sheen. I'm gonna leave the eyes at that because I really want to move on to blush. We're gonna test out the pink shade. So far with the eyes, they both look and pretty much feel the same way. You could say, if you want to get very precise, that there is more creaminess in the old one, but does that translate into a difference when we see it next to the new one? No, they both look exactly the same. So let's go into the blush, well, highlighter slash blush. And even though this might be too much as blush, I want to put it over a large surface area so we can more accurately judge, especially the shade itself. Is it the same tone of pink? Here's the old one. Are we seeing less pigment? This might be a little bit less pigmented. Old, new. Now I'm noticing a difference in shade, not in finish, like the actual glow, the radiance. Would you say it's the same intensity? I would say so. Yeah, it's the same intensity, it's just the color that has changed. This one is more, I think it's deeper, rosier. This one is lighter and pinker. I'm gonna finish my eyes and we'll go see what this looks like outside. I'm a little disappointed right now because of the color difference. Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's pretty minor, but no, it's not that minor. All right, I'm gonna finish my eyes. I finished with my eyes and now I'm just adding some lip gloss. This is from Rare Beauty in the shade Glimmer. Before we go outside, I did want to test the bronzer on my forehead. I didn't put it on my cheek because I didn't want to muddy the pink. So here goes the bronzer. It is glowy. We're gonna see what kind of finish this gives us compared to the new one. This is the original. I know this is a lot. I want it to be really obvious to us if there's any difference. New one. The bronzer looks the same on both sides. That's a positive. We've seen it in various lighting. It basically looks the same. That's the good news. The glow is the same. The shades are the same, except again for the pink, I still feel that this pink is rosier, a touch deeper. Let's move on to take a look at the arm swatches. I also did these in various lighting. Here I was really paying attention to, is there any difference in the sparkle? For example, those pinpoint sparkly particles that we see, are they more concentrated or less concentrated in the new version? Is there anything different? But no, I did not spot any differences. I didn't notice one looking smoother than the other or shinier than the other. Here's a curveball. The original was marked good for 12 months after opening. The new one, just 6 months. Half the time. Here are the backs of the compact. The original, right here it says 12 months, and the new one, right there we can see 6 months. Made in Italy as well. I understand the need to reformulate because of regulations, compliance, all of that. But I highly doubt that Dior had to cut the expiry date from 12 to 6 months. For the new formula, remember, they switched to a gentler preservative system. They didn't have to go that gentle. They could have stayed with stronger preservatives that even other brands still use and still been fully compliant, from what I understand. Again, I'm not an ingredients expert, but from the research I did, I think Dior took this opportunity to go even gentler preservative-wise than they had to. But Dior leaned into the cleaner options because it sounds better on a label. It's less about what works and more about what looks good to consumers. I hate that because as a reviewer, I need these palettes as reference for years, not 6 months. They're not gonna go bad in 6 months. They probably won't, I'm assuming. But still, it is a fact that they went with milder preservatives, so therefore it'll go bad sooner than the original. Which means if I wanna keep them in my collection, I gotta spend more money. Do I think it's unfair? Yeah, a little, but I also accept that this is how luxury beauty operates now. Clean beauty has become so important to consumers that brands are leaning into it hard. It's not entirely Dior's fault. They're giving people what they think they want. And for the record, I never toss a product after the PAO, period after opening, unless it looks or it smells funky. So, final verdict, is Dior ruining this palette? I wouldn't go that far. What they've done is made it lighter, silkier, and definitely more in line with the clean beauty movement. The glow is basically the same, but the texture has shifted a little bit. The old one felt creamier and a little bit richer. The new one feels thinner, more lightweight. Is that a bad thing? No. Here's my bottom line. If you liked the old one, you will be happy with the new one. The result, as we can see, is nearly identical. And that's good news. So is it better? Not really. Is it worse? Also not really. It's more like Dior playing it safe. They adjusted the formula to meet the new rules and to look better on a clean label. So that's a breakdown of this reformulated palette. When this reformulation launched, they didn't just come out with this palette. They came out with several, and at least here in the US, there are 4 total. In my next video, I'm gonna swatch and demo all of them side by side so you can see the full lineup and figure out which one makes sense for you. If you wanna catch that, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one.